6 Northern Terrafly runway heading, runway 5. Clear for takeoff.
From Psychic Sundays to ET Contact and everything in between, this is Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with host Elizabeth Anglin.
Check it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'd be great. So, guys, smoke now.
You can connect with Elizabeth on Skype at 505-908-9558 and Spirit for Peace. Follow Liz on Twitter at Elizabeth Anglin and hashtag SpacedOutRadio. And you can connect with us on the web at SpacedOutRadio.com.
I feel the need for speed.
You feel it over and over again. We take you higher and higher and higher. You feel it over and over again.
Chillers, real now. Smoke off now.
This is the life we live again.
Chillers, ready now. Contact. Easy up. Chillers, real now. Real now. One left.
Don't look much like Los Angeles to me. I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Now taking you on a spiritual journey from the desert of New Mexico this Sunday night, here's Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin.
Chillers, ready to take it back. Contact. Chillers, turn now. Smoke off now. Chillers, ready to take away drive. Speak now. Chillers, turn now.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio. This is Elizabeth Anglin, host of Cosmic Passport, and this is Psychic Sunday. I am coming to you live from the Spaced Out Radio Cosmic Cruise Mobile. We are coming to you live from the stormy, windy, wild, and actually quite mild desert Southwest tonight, specifically the art colony hippie commune of Madrid, New Mexico, or Madrid, depending on how you want to say it. Yes, there is a cultural thing going on there, but we say Madrid, you say Madrid. Who cares? We come from this place every Sunday night here on SpacedOutRadio.com with Cosmic Passport. And tonight we have some galactic mediums for you. Kelly delbianco and Paul Simons, who both have ties with the Sirius B Council. Yeah, we're going to rock and roll through this one. I'll tell you what, this is going to be fun. So before we do that, for all of you listening in from around North America and the world, I want to welcome everyone listening on WQEE 99 Rock the Key. Everyone at spacedoutradio.com on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Talk Network, Renegade Talk Radio, the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and on KTLK, The Fringe. We also want to give thanks to our guitar god, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy. He creates the music that makes Spaced Out Radio Weekend rock, the official spacedoutradio.com music. Thank you so much, Ron, for doing that for us. If you are a Twitter bug, you can check us out on Twitter. We're always there at Spaced Out Radio. You can also find us on Facebook. And you can find me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin, or Elizabeth Anglin with my picture. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. Tune us in on TuneIn. Download our shows from iTunes. We are also on RadioGuide.fm, TalkStream Live, and on Stitcher. And of course, our website is SpacedOutRadio.com. If you go to Patreon.com, we have some cool offers for you, our valued listeners, there as well. Make sure you check those out. And if you want to take part in the show, you'll have to sign into one of our chat rooms on Spreaker or on the chat room on Facebook at the SOR Space Travelers Club. If you head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, for just $5 a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler, and we offer some pretty decent stuff for you, our space travelers there. It's our opportunity to give back to you. Please check out our news section, The Encounter, that deals with everything paranormal, courtesy of our editor, Eric Markham, and you can check out Dave Scott's latest blog there as well. And if you have had an experience that you can explain, feel free to fill out an SOR Sightlines report. Our researchers are ready to help you find out what's going on with your paranormal or highly strange or significantly weird experiences, and it will be kept completely confidential. We are a radio show for experiencers by experiencers, and we own the night here on SOR. We also own the day too. Just don't tell anybody because, a bunch of big corporations think they own it. Again, a big thanks to everyone listening in on WQEE 99 Rock the Key, to the Spaced Out Radio family way down in Noonan, Georgia. Thanks for sharing your nights with us at Spaced Out Radio. Renegade Talk Radio out of Las Vegas. We are live in Sin City. Just don't tell anybody we were here. The United Public Radio Network on 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and their listeners from over 160 countries around the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening in tonight. Well, I told you we had galactic mediums, and I was not lying. Tonight, we're going to be talking to Kelly delbianco. She says it a little differently than I would, coming from Boston. She's out of Vancouver. She is a medium and clairvoyant, a channeler, and an Akashic Records master. She grew up in rural British Columbia, and at the age of 4 to 5 years old began to become aware of energy, sense spirit, and to astral travel. At age 18, she had a visitation from a light being, and shortly after began to channel light languages. Kelly has spent many years quietly journeying into her high self, and she has had several activation points throughout her lifespan with light beings and the angelic, which have led her to understand her starseed beginnings within the galactic. It is this connection that brings in her channeling of star beings, archangels, ascended masters, and spirit guides. And as a starseed, she's also an extreme empath and very in tune to souls, and is a true soul seer. Her website is ancientveils.ca, and you can find out more about her there. But tonight, we're going to find out even more than that, because we have questions for Kelly. And Kelly, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing tonight, Elizabeth?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in. I have a little twist in my tongue. It's like everything's a tongue twister. I hate that.
Particularly my last name.
Yes, delbianco.
Delbianco. It's a good Italian name from my husband.
Ah, well, thank him for that, because he's challenged me, and I'm very rarely challenged by words. Well, people who listen to me not know how much I'm challenged by words. So I am so excited because Paul Simons is coming back, and he's also a medium with galactic tendencies. And you are doing galactic mediumship as well.
Yes, I am.
And I'm going to take your questions out of order.
All right.
So as a galactic medium, you channel, but who do you channel? And are you an inspirational? Are you a trance channel? Are you an evidential channel? What are you doing?
Well, I conscious channel because I have a contract with them that I will not allow them to take over. Mm-hmm. I don't really go for that. So I channel archangels. I channel a star being called Grandfather, who is a Native American attached to the Hopi, and he is also attached to Pleiadian. I also channel spirit guides as well. So depending on the moment and what is required is who comes forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that we call an evidential in school, because I went to school, it's evidential mediumship. And I'm the same way. I tell you what, I'm like, no, nobody takes over my body. It just is not happening. As long as I know what's going on and why it's happening, I'm all for it. So you started to be able to sense things as a starseed. A lot of the people that are listening tonight are starseeds, they're experiencers, but you started to be able to sense things at a very young age. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I started at about age 4 to 5, and that seems awfully young, but I would have visitations from spirit guides and loved ones that would come and sit and rock in my rocking chair in my room. I used to have a sense of energy around me, like the hair on the back of my neck would stand up. And when I was about 8 years old is when I started to know fear from negative and low-lying energies. And I would be panically running to my room and hiding and being very scared because I really didn't understand what was going on. My parents that raised me, I was adopted. My parents that raised me were not spiritual people in any way, sense, or form. I also began to astral travel when I was probably about, I want to say around 7 or 8. And the most fun I had at night was I used to jump around my living room from couch to couch, which I wasn't allowed to do during the day, flying around the house, bouncing off furniture, because my little world was so small. I grew up in a rural area that I really didn't go anywhere. So my house was my sanctuary, and I feel that my guides and my angels wouldn't let me outside of that and astral travel at that age. So I would fly around my house constantly at night, just enjoying the self-being of being able to jump all over the furniture all the time. It was actually quite amazing.
Well, that's really cool. We got a question almost immediately from the Spreaker chat room. Who are the shadow people? And what's your understanding of that? We talk about this a lot. We have different people come in and talk about shadow beings. So what's your take on them?
Shadow beings. It depends what they want to know and what shadow beings they're talking about, you know. There's shadow law and light law, if we want to talk about that, or shadow people. I don't really worry about shadow people anymore. If you're talking about negative beings, is that what they're asking?
Yeah, I think that we just had a show on a couple weeks ago about shadow people and Hat Man, and you know, some of the things we were coming up with is that some shadows are not necessarily negative and other shadows are.
Okay, so, yeah, I get what you mean now, because up here maybe we're calling them different, right?
Right.
So shadow people to me, I remember laying in bed one night and I looked up and there was a big shadow on my wall, and I just put the blankets over my head and said, "See you later, go away, I don't need you here," right? So yes. There is low-lying and negative energies. Absolutely. I would call those, they could be shadow people as well. I did have a watcher in my personal bedroom for some time who is from the negative side and who would just watch me. Ooh. And I needed to call a shaman in to have that person removed, and definitely attached to shadow people, right?
Right.
So it's a very scary experience when you're going through that. And when you're a child going through that, it was very scary for me, right? Mm-hmm. I had a lot of fear at age 8, around 8, I want to say 7, 8, 9, 10, where I would sense these energies and I would just be petrified. So I grew up with a lot of fear because I had no spiritual guidance. Right. It wasn't until I was about 18 and 19 that I was able to let go of fear of shadows. Yeah.
Wow. So Lois, who asked the question in the Spreaker chat room, says that she's asking about the kind of shadow people who stay and watch you in your bedroom at night and pace the length of your bed. So that sounds a lot like your shadow person that you
my watcher.
Removed. Your watcher. Yeah.
I have my watcher. I have portals in my house. So I've had a shaman in, and I have had my house cleansed, and I have galactic portal keepers that hold my portals for the highest and best and only for the highest vibrational beings now. And I have a waiting room. I have a big rock, which I have a waiting room, and I release spirit out of that every full moon with the lords and ladies of death, and off they go with them. And so my house is much cleaner now that I've brought in galactic portal keepers into my home. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's always good to have somebody keeping your portal protected.
Yes.
Or your portal.
Well, they shift around in my home, so I have to have galactic guardians of the portals, actually. Yeah.
Right. Dennis in the Spreaker chat room asks, "What's the difference? What's the difference between astral traveling and multi-dimensional planing?"
Oh my goodness. Well, astral traveling can just be coming out of your body and moving around in your surroundings, right? Or multidimensional traveling would mean traveling into other dimensions and other spiritual areas while you're sleeping and your soul is moving, right? To me, when I was astral traveling when I was younger, I was just jumping around my house. I stayed contained. When you astral travel when you're older and more spiritual and you know how to do it, you can actually go into different planes and different dimensions. And so I can travel out astrally and visit to certain guides and certain places that I want to go or where my guides want me to go, right? Sometimes flying around the earth. And that's traveling in a different way than just astral traveling around your little area. Mm-hmm. That makes sense?
Well, yeah, when I was a kid, I used to astral travel around my neighborhood, and those were my flying dreams. So
yes.
I'd astral travel in my house, and I'd go spy on my brother and sister because I was the youngest, and you have to spy in order to be annoying to the appropriate amount for older siblings. And then I'd take off and I'd go fly around the neighborhood, which was really, really fun. But I never really remember going much further than that as a kid.
As a child, I think you're really protected by your guides.
Yeah.
And they don't allow you to do too much of that. But as you become more spiritual and this adult, then you can travel into different things, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You have more of a connection with your physicality because you've been in it for so long.
Absolutely.
You're not missing that. Well, that is really, really cool. I wonder how many experiencers out there have a similar experience of traveling around the neighborhood, flying around the neighborhood, going in the house. If you were a younger sibling, did you spy on your brother and sister? Because I did. And other things. Well, you've also had visitations and interactions with light beings and with angelic beings. Can you share some of those experiences with our listeners?
Yeah. So my first visitations were when I was very young, but they would never show themselves to me. They would come and they would sit by me. They would rock in the rocking chair. They would touch my hand, things like that when I was young, from about age 4 till I want to say up to about age 16-ish. When I was 18, I started seeking, and this is a typical starseed personality trait, I started seeking outside of organized religion because I was seeking and I couldn't connect to what I needed to connect to. And I was laying in bed one night, and I fell asleep, and it was quite interesting. And I remember waking up and sitting up on my elbows, and there was a light being at the end of my bed. And I say light being because they were glowing in yellow light, and it was a man, presented as a man, huge. Now, he looked to me to be at least 10 feet tall, but yet he didn't appear over large for the room, even though the ceilings were only 8 feet. He spoke to me with a voice that boomed, but yet it was so soft. I was very relaxed. Now I'm sitting up on my elbows in bed looking at this person, and they're talking to me, but they're talking to my higher self. I'm nodding my head. I'm full awake, looking at this, nodding my head, and trying to figure out what is this person saying, but yet I'm nodding and I'm understanding, right? And so then all of a sudden, I just laid down and closed my eyes again, and then I shot up like a bolt of lightning because this light being wasn't there anymore. And I drew a picture of it, and I wrote everything down, and I was so confused by it. And the next morning I went out for breakfast, and my mom said to me, she said, Kelly, I was just going to come in and I was going to wake you up in the middle of the night. You were screaming and screaming and screaming, and then all of a sudden you just stopped. So it's my understanding, since talking to my guides and helpers, that there was sort of a psychic attack going on with me, and the light being came in protection and helped me to relax, calm down, and know everything was okay. So that was my first visual of a light being. And that was quite something when you're 18 years old.
Wow.
And my mom, I thought I was a little crazy when I woke up, even though I was sensitive to spirit. I'd never seen, but my mom confirmed for me what had happened, right? So it was quite good. I've had spirit, well, about 3 years ago, or no, I want to say 5 years ago, spirit was jogging me and clicking at me to get moving and get on things and start practice and get, really start moving forward. And so I was ignoring them because I was just happy in my little world of where I was at, right? And so I would be laying in bed and I'd hear my name being called constantly. I would hear bells ringing. And so I sat up one night after I heard my name, and I looked, and there was a person walking through my room looking at me, and I was like, who are you, right? So, yeah. And so I've had quite a few of those types of incidents, and I've had spirits where I have woken up and spirit's been holding my hand. And the last incident I had with spirit, I was laying on my bed, and this was about 2 years ago, and I was sleeping and I was laying on my right side, and all of a sudden I woke up and I was wide awake, and I looked over my left shoulder, and there was a gentleman laying on the bed looking at me. And honestly, I had no reaction. I just looked at him. I rolled back over onto my right side and ignored him. And then I fell asleep, and I woke up and I could feel a hand on my hip. And I kind of went, what? Right? So I've had a lot of really strange experiences. Sorry for the beeping door. That's just my son arriving home. I've had a lot of strange experiences with this. But now what has happened with the activations for me is that the angels and archangels are appearing. And the newest archangel to appear recently is Archangel Aria, who is the overseer of your guardian angels. She's one of the hierarchy archangels.
How do you spell her name? Is it Aria?
Aria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the other one that's started to happen is Archangel Michael is coming through all the time now. And I quite frequently, when I was preparing for the show, I was sitting here, and I knew that he had stepped forward, and I just greeted him because he's right here. The blue energy was surrounding me, and so he's also present tonight. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. He works with me in my practice every day. So
there we go.
Yay. Yeah, there he is.
So I've had all these things, but activations. One of the activations that's happened is, you know how everyone sees 1111 or 111 or 1101 or 11, sequencing of one, and you don't really think anything of it. You think, oh, angels or people are trying to talk to me, and they can't understand what is going on with that. But what's happening with me is it's happening 6 to 8 times a day, every day. And so I was speaking to a wonderful gentleman called Brad Johnson, and he gave me some information that it is an activation because there's an activation going on with me right now for the healing work that they need me to do. Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot of weird stuff happening for me right now, and I believe it's because the information about being a starseed has just really started to come to light in the past 12 months. And so they're pushing this and getting me to where I need to go with that belief, right?
Mm-hmm. Or the information, I am going to call it information, because what people like to say is that we have a strange belief system, but over time, what we have is experience and information.
Agreed.
And so I like to avoid belief, but it's also trust. You
Yes.
know, how much do you trust, and how much does this feel right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I've never felt like I didn't belong here. I never had that feeling. I did feel out of sorts with my family at times, but I never really had the feeling I didn't belong here, which is one of the typical traits. However, when I first met my mentor, she told me, "You're very much a galactic." And I'm like, "What? What is a galactic? What are you talking about?" Right? And as we've progressed, I have started to see the inklings of that. And I didn't really realize what all the implications of that word would mean at this part of my life now, because it has brought me to a whole awareness in my spirituality just from that connection. It's quite interesting, actually. I feel so starting to understand everything. Like, so when I was told I was a galactic, I never feel connected there, like to the ET, alien starseed. I never felt that connection. I always felt connected because I was connecting with the Ascended Masters and the Archangels more in that range. So I was kind of having this war with myself, like, where do I connect and what is going on? But over the last 12 months, they've really brought me to this understanding that I do connect as a starseed, but where I connect is from, and I've had this confirmed from a few readings now, and meditations. I connect outside of our universe to another universe. This is where I originated, from another universe that has upper angelic in it, which this makes sense to me. But I have transited through Sirius and also through Venus and the Hathors in previous lives. And now it all makes sense to me that they have given me this information.
Really, really interesting. So you're talking about Sirius and you're talking about the Hathors. Now I have a very different understanding of the Hathors because I met some beings that looked like Hathor, but they were Minotaurs. They were not actually Hathors. So, you know, when you say Hathors, I'm like thinking of the Minotaur I saw way back when. But Hathors are something completely different. Hathors are more of a feminine principle.
Right. And they hail from Venus, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
so they come in from Venus. So the Hathors, because I channel light language. So when I channel Grandfather, I channel in light language, and then Grandfather will give a message in English. When I sing for healing, when I do Akashic Records or when I do healing for people, I use light language, but I sing it. And this is where this stems from for me, is with the Hathors.
Oh, very, very interesting.
Yeah. Now, I don't sing the same as the Hathors, but this is where it originates through my lineage of being a starseed. This is where it comes. I do know I had a previous Egyptian life. I do know that. And so that connects me in that sense. And so I sing, but it comes in an angelic form. The angels and the archangels have told me that it is angelic singing. And I use it for healing, for DNA activation, and for raising people's vibration. And it really is a really beautiful gift that Spirit has given me. It's just amazing.
All right. So I'm not going to spring this on you. You have a right to say no. But do you want to sing a little bit? I'm always for singing.
Okay. Yeah, I can sing for you if you want me to. All right. Just I'll just take a couple big breaths because it took me a second to go. Inoshiana no hayanerato inehe no nino shuye handorando nene no shei ne no noi hande no no ye yo to ye ne no. Okay, good.
That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. Thank you.
Hey, listen, I don't sing at all. If you listen to me on the radio, I'd be like killing your ears. So
No, you didn't kill any. You didn't kill my ears.
so that's a little example, you know. I mean, I'm not it. The thing about light language is that even though I just sang that, everybody will get benefit from that. Anybody that's listening will be receiving to their higher self, whether they felt it or not. And that is the beauty of light language. Right now, everybody has had a touch in their higher self and that DNA, that spiritual DNA, with that little amount of singing.
Wonderful.
So it's quite interesting. Now, I know Grandfather, who I channel, has a message for you guys.
Let's hear it. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to, Grandfather, as I said, connects to the Hopi Native Americans. So, pardon me. So when I channel him in light language, you'll be able to tell. And then he has an English message for everyone out there who's listening.
Oh, we just lost you. Where'd you go? Kelly, did you mute yourself by accident? We're waiting for a message from Grandfather Kelly. If you could unmute yourself, that would be great. She's still on Skype, folks. I'm just waiting for her to be able to come back. And, oh, nope, she came off of Skype. And we have a Skype situation. Hold on, folks. I'm going to call her back. And as you can hear, I don't know if you guys can hear the little Skype noise, which is ever so much fun. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is not really going to work. Hold on again. I'm just waiting to get Kelly back. Yes, the gnomes, the Skype gnomes are after our Skype, and they are doing things that make it hard to have a show. I think it was because I wrote to Ron and told him to stop complaining about the my mic. It's actually my computer. My computer is old and it needs a new fan. It's been living in dusty New Mexico. Let's go to recent. Let me see if I can get her on her phone. Those gnomes. What can we do? Interestingly, Skype now says that Kelly is offline. They got Kelly, the gnomes got her. Well, and we do want to hear. Oh, here she is. Hello, my dear.
Hi, I lost you.
I know, you went away. And Skype didn't want Skype didn't want you to come back. Are you on your phone?
I am on my phone now because the internet connection's not working.
Okay, so you blew out the internet connection. Can you speak a little louder?
Yes, and I can actually turn it. I can. How's that? Is that better?
That's a little better. Okay. Guys in the chat room, just let me know if you can hear her well enough.
Can you hear this? Is that better? Is that better?
That's much better. Yeah.
Did you cut off channeling Grandfather?
We did, as soon as you started.
Okay, so let me go back because he has a message for you guys, okay? So let me go again because I know he wants to tell you guys something, all right? Okay, so here we go. Yashnehe ikete to inana hashnaha iya yakne inashnehe yo yata ina inainashnaharaka ine ioye iya ye shne no no hake inakaino shna mabaki te totana hane ishe ya toka. So now I'm going to give you the message that he has in English. All right. And he says, in darkness there is light, and in light there is darkness. Search not one for the other, but stand in your trust and belief, for it is in these moments that our presence guides you. Be alive in the flow of the wind. Be alive in the movement of the water. Be still with your feet upon the earth and live in the fire of your true self. We are but one, friends. And that is Grandfather's message.
That is lovely. And you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if this is just the message for today, but Craig, who is in the speaker chat room, we were talking about living beyond time. A couple of us were saying, yeah, I want to go home. I want to live beyond time. And I had just watched the movie Arrival that came out last year, so everybody watched it last year. I don't go to movies, and so I watched it on Netflix. Have you seen that movie?
Arrival? Is that the new one where the ship lands?
The ship lands, 12 ships land, and they're really big, scary-looking aliens, but they're coming with a message, and the message is that there is no time and that we are all one. And
yeah, I think I have seen that one.
Yeah.
I think I have, yeah.
And part of it is... but the I'm not going to tell too much about the end, but the actual lesson is, even if you could live beyond time, like even if your consciousness were able to process nonlinear time, that you would still want to have the experience of being alive and having love and having family members and being in the wind, being out in the wind and having all of these wonderful experiences that are involved with linear time. And so it was just a wonderful movie in that it had to do with consciousness in time, but also nonlinear time. And the message was really lovely, that the person that all of this happened to came to peace with linear time, even though she could see beyond it. So I know I've wrecked it for somebody, but you should go watch it anyway, because if you're part of this crew, you knew it wasn't going to be a movie about scary aliens trying to kill people if I'm telling you to go watch it. No, Cog, it wasn't the Klingons. It was the heptapods.
The grandfather is very much a knowledge keeper. And I actually came to channel him. I actually asked a elder here, right, why grandfather would pick me. And I call him, I just want to tell people, I call him grandfather because he says I will not understand his name. And that because he is the wisdom keeper and the knowledge keeper, and he is an elder, I call him grandfather out of respect. And in a previous lifespan, I have come to this earth and I have lived as an Indigenous woman. And he relates to me as his granddaughter. And so he told me that I couldn't not pick a man because they would be too forceful with my message. I needed someone that could bring it with more calmness and a little bit more emotion, and that matched his, I want to say personality, we'll just say that, personality, in a way that would allow for his words to have meaning in this modern world.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Now, about the language that he speaks in, now I had this experience with a Sasquatch where I was told to call him the old man, and I said, well, what's your real name? And he said, well, you wouldn't understand it. And then he gave it to me, and it was the old man in Ute. Like, I actually went and looked up what he had said, and it was the old man. And so have you had anybody do translations on recordings of the language, or is that just how he comes across?
I have not as of yet. but every time, and maybe there's callers out there listening now, every time I've spoken to an Indigenous person and done this language to an Indigenous person, they seem to have an understanding of what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And it's quite amazing to me. Even though they don't speak light language, or they may not be starseeds or galactic, they seem to feel it and understand it. So it would be interesting for me. Now, I have been told that through messaging and meditation, that he is very ancient. He's past, now I can never say this right, in Europe, not thespians, but something, that time and age in Europe, so long ago, like almost to Earth formation, right? Like he's way back there, and this is a very ancient language that he uses, right? So it would have been, he tells me that he came to the Earth to bring the people out of the cave, to walk upon the Earth. So he comes right from the very beginning, right? Mm-hmm. So it would be interesting if somebody actually knew what I was speaking, because I have no clue. I channel it as it comes, right?
Right. Yeah, that's like I had no clue when I said, "What's your name, really?" And he gave me verbatim Ute. You know, it was like, and you know, of course, we were in Colorado.
Well,
we were both in Colorado, which had been Ute land, and so he's like, "Okay, well, if you don't like it in English, here you go. Here's some Ute." The old man.
Well,
you know.
I do have a protector guide. My very first protector guide, he told me his name was Standing Tall. And I said, "Well, why is your name Standing Tall?" And he said, "Well, go look this up." And so I went and looked up, and this was when I was very young, and I cannot remember the name of the proper tribe at this time, but I looked it up, and I was so confounded when I saw it, is that they used to stick long poles out the top of their teepee, and then they would attach branches and feathers that would fly up into the air so that their teepees would stand tall.
Oh.
So this is how he got his name. So it's very interesting. Yeah. But for some reason, grandfather, he just prefers that I call him grandfather. And I find it interesting. I've tried hard for a name, but no going.
Wow. So now you've had a journey with grandfather. How long has he been in your life so far?
He has been in my life now for about, I want to say 6.5 to 7 years, but really I brought him out to the public and prominent about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It took me a while to move to that level of bringing it out to the public, and this was part of my growth in the last while of reaching forward to my beginnings and reaching to an acceptance of who I am, where I come from, and what my purpose is. And it is all coming into fruition in these last 4 to 5 years.
Wow. Really, really wonderful. So, you know, and what you're coming to is your sort of understanding of being a starseed, your understanding of having a lifetime across time, right? Is that part of it?
Yes. Yes, I do have. I've come as a starseed many times. As I was stating earlier, I come from a universe outside this universe with higher angelics, but I have traveled through Sirius, and I do have that energy in this lifespan, which I'm sure Paul, who's up next, will understand. I carry that energy right now. And I also, so I've transited through there to make my transition. I've also been told that I'm going to say body for lack of a better word, that I reside in that angelic universe is sort of on ice waiting for me to return, and I go back into it and come out of it and go back into it and come out of it and live life here on Earth, making transit through Sirius and through Venus and the Hathors, and these are the two that I come through. Yeah, but in this lifespan, I'm very connected to the Sirius. I have a lot of those qualities. One very interesting thing about me is I was born with blonde hair that was almost completely white. I was also born with very blue eyes. However, at age 10, my eyes turned green. Interesting, right?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Wow.
It is. I do have a combination blood group. I have so many things. Animals, I collected animals as a child. I would sit in the field and collect animals. I had something like 13 cats that I would feed, and I'd bring different ones into my bed every night, and we didn't own these cats. I had stray dogs. I had, you name it, I had it. And even to this day, animals will jump, cats particularly, will jump. They'll jump 6 to 7 feet to get up on top of me. It's quite interesting. I as I said, I'm psychic. I'm an empath, which makes it very difficult for me to be around large crowds because I'm such an extreme empath. I have trouble with crowds, which is a typical starseed thing. I'm very much to myself. I have close friends, but very few. I have all those different weird, I don't want to say weird, but weird that other people might think are weird. I don't find them weird. They're just me, right? At age 19, I had precognition of events that would happen to me like several days in advance. Are you okay there?
Can you hear me?
I'm very, yeah, I hear you coughing.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
I'm very hypersensitive to cold and hot. I get chronic sinusitis. I have constant buzzing and clicking in my ears. And also another thing that I have started to channel is when I'm doing healing work is I'm clicking. I'm clicking for the vibration for the healing, which is quite interesting. Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of clicking in my light language now. Yeah, I was taller than most children too. I couldn't even find a prom dress because my mom had something specially made for me because I was too tall. And it's just all these things, right? So many things.
Wow. Yes. What you remind me of is a tall white. You sound like a tall white, which I have. That's not actually Sirius. That's Mintaka. But they're related. Have you looked into that, or had any memories of being a tall white?
What did you? A tall white?
A tall white alien. Mm-hmm. And there are other white aliens too, but the tall whites are interesting. And yeah, so you looked into that.
Yeah, I've asked each way and sideways where I come from, and the latest answer is you come from the universe beyond this universe, and it is a universe filled with light, and it is with higher angelics in it. And that is the latest info, the latest download.
Yeah. And you're coming through this universe to get here now. That's how.
Yes, and so
works.
I transit through Sirius, and I take on characteristics through there as I do when I went through Venus and the Hathors, right? So it's very this is stuff that they're downloading. I've asked them repeatedly, but they never push up information until you're ready to receive it, right? And so they have been bringing it to me little by little, and now they've been bringing it to me in leaps and bounds. So the latest information that I just got about being in this outer universe, and there was higher angelic there, was just given to me last week. So I was thinking I had a Pleiades connection until I received all this information last week, and they said your Pleiades connection is to grandfather because he's Hoppy, and he's related to the Pleiades.
Oh, very interesting. Very, very interesting. We had somebody on. Well, the Hopi have interesting. We're going to have Gary A. David back. Everybody who's been listening, a couple of weeks ago, we had Gary A. David on talking about the Hopi and their constellations, their travels in the star nations, and the Orion. Orion is one of their star nations that they have all sorts of connections to the stars. So just so you know, we're going to have him back. We're going to ask him questions about this. And Kelly, if you want to listen, you're welcome to listen.
That would be.
Yeah, he's an awesome researcher, academic researcher, writer, who is into archaeoastrology and archaeology and prehistoric cultures, but mainly the Hopi and the Serpent people. And I think I'd love to get everybody together to have a conversation about what these connections are. It's so interesting to me that you just got this download about being from a place with higher angelics, a place beyond here, or this galaxy, and that you're coming through these other intelligences, these other social systems and world systems to come here to Earth. My question is, why are you here? I know that's a big one, but why do that kind of journey? What do you think the reason for that is?
The reason is, how can I put this in a simple way so it makes sense? I really am part of the collective whole, to raise the collective whole, but there's also another part of me that I need to try and understand with them a little bit more. Now, I don't know if you've heard about the grid energy workers. Have you heard about that?
I have heard about them. It was a few years ago. But also, are they related to working on the neural net and the Sri Yantra, or is this just working on the Earth grids? Okay.
On the Earth grid. So there is a group, that work on the grids. Now, I've been getting a lot of downloads from Ascendant Masters, Serapis Bay, explaining energy grids to me, explaining the Seraphims energy grids to me, how it all works, how we move through grids, how the grids are set, how all that happens. And so I am trying to get them to advise me if I am to be one of the grid workers. However, because there's only 1,300 to 1,400 people that work to sew up the grids constantly. But with the other soul work that they're giving me, it doesn't seem that way. I think it might be just information for me. But what I'm doing here is I am an anchorage point. I come as a starseed, and I'm an anchorage point, and I'm out serving to others by giving them information, by opening their souls, by helping their vibrations to raise, to become part of the collective whole, to raise Earth into the new dimension and up to the fourth and fifth and so on. And it's part of my job, and this is why I am people call me a soul seer here, because when I stare at someone or look at someone, I see the inner you. It's that piece of you that you hide. If I can see your eyes in any way, shape, or form, I can see the inner you that you're hiding. The true you, the true problems, the true essence.
Now, can you do this from a picture? Because what am I hiding? Because I know I'm hiding it from myself,
Well, it would take me, I'm a barrel of fun at parties if you could sit beside me. I usually don't like to go to parties because I really have to shut down. And when I really have to shut down, then I'm totally shut down, right? And then I'm not much fun at a party. So it's a neat party trick. If I get bored, I can seek people, but I try not to do that. sort of an ethical thing. But yeah, if I can see your eyes, a picture will take me a little longer, but not too much longer. But if I can see your eyes, I can usually figure out what needs to be happening. You know, I'm not, Spirit doesn't, so this is part of my journey, is showing people the inside, connecting to their soul with my higher self, taking them on their journey of discovery, increasing their vibration, anchoring them here and bringing them up so that they can add to the collective whole of Earth spiritually.
Wonderful. All right.
Hopefully
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it also helps us as human beings become universalized, which is something we need to do. We need to learn how to live here well, and then also to become good universal citizens. So thank you for coming. If people want to work with you, how do they reach you?
They can reach me at www.ancientveils.ca, and there is also on the front page of my web, there is an email contact. You can fill that out and send me off an email, and they can connect with me through there.
Wonderful. So check out ancientveils.ca. We're going to be back with Paul Simons for Psychic Sunday, and we will be taking your calls and answering as many questions as possible on chat. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, space travelers. It's Joe Roop, your host of Spaced Out Saturdays. Come join me as we explore the realms of the paranormal, the esoteric, and everything in between every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. You know the truth is out there. Don't get caught sleepwalking. Come join Spaced Out Saturdays. That's every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, right here on SpacedOutRadio.com.
365 days a year, we're in the field, investigating UFO sightings, talking to alien abductees, and visiting secret military locations like Area 51. We're UFO Seekers, official partner of Spaced Out Radio. Follow our daily search for the truth at ufoseekers.com or like us on social media. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
From coast to coast to coast, Blacklight Uncharted is taking on the paranormal across Canada. From ghostly hauntings to the UFOs flying above in conjunction with MUFON Canada, we're closely investigating what's going on in the northern skies and checking out the apparitions that walk among us. Check out our videos right here at SpacedOutRadio.com. We want to know your thoughts, we want to hear your experiences, and we want you to share your stories. The answers are out there, and we intend to find them.
Would you like to become one of our space travelers? All you have to do is click on the Space Travelers icon at SpacedOutRadio.com. For only $5 a month, you can get access to some great prizes, as well as private monthly shows, newsletters, and a members-only section on our website. Become a space traveler today.
It's paranormal news at its finest. Welcome to The Encounter. At SpaceOutRadio.com, The Encounter Online is SOR's trusted news source for everything weird and strange going on around the world. This is news editor Eric Markham. Our team of journalists are scouring the planet for those strange stories that rarely make the mainstream. No fear-mongering or fake news here. Head over to SpaceOutRadio.com and encounter The Encounter.
Want to learn more about aliens, cover-ups, conspiracies, cryptids, and the paranormal? All you have to do is tune in S4 as we take over the Spaced Out Radio night, starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, each and every Saturday night, right after Spaced Out Saturdays. Hi there, this is Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. Join me, Corey Ruiz, and friends as we discuss the hot topics of the night. It's fun, entertaining, and as dark as the night. Find us at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at SpacedOutRadio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on SpacedOutRadio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at SpacedOutRadio.com and click on our Advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit SpacedOutRadio.com for more details.
From British Columbia to Northern California, Pacific North Weird has Cascadia covered. Check out our feature videos at SpacedOutRadio.com, where I, Vincent Zunza, and my super sleuth partner Alexandra Sullivan track down the weird and strange stories from around the Pacific Northwest. From Bigfoot to Mel's Hole and everything in between. This is what makes life exciting. So why report the normal when we can report the Pacific North Weird right here at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Don't have time to listen to Spaced Out Radio live? Wherever you are, the car, the office, the shower, or even if you're traveling, we're right here for you. Each Spaced Out Radio show can be found on iTunes, TuneIn, and on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. It's the perfect way for you to catch up on our shows. For more information, just head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, and tune in to us today.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live, and we're always interactive with you. So join us at SpacedOutRadio.com, where together, we own the night. The views and opinions expressed by tonight's guests and topic of discussion do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of Spaced Out Radio, Spaced Out Weekend, Spaced Out Radio Limited, its hosts, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with this broadcast. Would you like to connect with us? Head to SpacedOutRadio.com for all your latest show info. And hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag SpacedOutRadio. Now, back to Elizabeth Anglin and SOR.
And we are back. This is your host of Spaced Out Radio's Cosmic Passport. I am Elizabeth Anglin, and we are on Psychic Sunday. This is the call-in show where you get to ask our guest, Kelly Delbianco, questions, and psychic medium Paul Simons is back from Brazil tonight. We've got some galactic Sirius B Council mediums coming your way to answer all sorts of things about all sorts of things. But before we do that, I want to let you know where we're coming from, Madrid, New Mexico, or Madrid, depending on how you want to say it. For all of you listening from around North America and the world, we want to welcome you back. You are listening to Spaced Out Radio and spacedoutradio.com. Everybody who is listening on WQEE 99 Rock, the Key in Noonan, Georgia, as spacedoutradio.com on Spreaker, and on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, and the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and on KTLK The Fringe. Thank you for listening, and also thanks to our guitar god, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy. Thank you for making the music that makes Spaced Out Radio rock, the official SpacedOutRadio.com music. If you are on Twitter, check us out at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Facebook, you can follow me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin or at Elizabeth Anglin. If you are calling in right now, I hope that you do get added to the group call. Everybody who is calling in, can you just chill for a second so I can read the announcements? Our radio show can be tuned in on TuneIn. Download our shows from iTunes. We are also on RadioGuide.fm, TalkStream Live, and on Stitcher. And of course, our website is SpacedOutRadio.com. If you go to Patreon.com, you can find some cool offers there as well. If you want to take part in the show, you'll have to sign into one of our chat rooms on Spreaker or on the chat room on Facebook at the SOR Space Travelers Club. If you head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, for just $5 a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler, and we offer some pretty decent stuff for space travelers there as well. Please check out our news section, The Encounter, that deals with everything paranormal, courtesy of our editor, Eric Markham, and you can check out Dave Scott's latest blog there as well. And if you've had an experience that you can't explain, fill out an SOR Sightlines report. Our researchers are ready to help you find out what's going on. Again, big thank you to everyone listening at WQEE 99 Rock the Key, to the Spaced Out Radio family way down in Noonan, Georgia. Thanks for sharing your nights with us. Everybody in Las Vegas at Renegade Talk Radio, hoot, we are so happy you are here. United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and all the listeners from 107.7 FM from over 160 countries around the world. Thank you for being here with us. This is Cosmic Passport. This is Psychic Sunday. The phones are ringing off the hook. I'm serious. I've never seen so much action here on our switchboard with Kelly Delbianco and Paul Simons, our two galactic mediums. Kelly and Paul, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Now, Paul, you did some work today with a longtime listener and Spaced Out Radio family member, Corey, and she has told us that it's okay for you to talk about it. And I was wondering if you wanted to talk about her session, because she was so tired out. She was like, I'm going to go to bed, but you guys can talk about it on the air. So how did that go?
Well, I do want to say that every session I do with a client is private and confidential. What I can say is that there were a lot of things that she needed confirmation or more information on, and she got that information. And there were some issues that she didn't understand about her connection with different stars and different galaxies, and I feel like it filled in the dots. It kind of gave her the insight that she needed. And I do short sessions. If somebody wants to get a quick consultation, I do 20-minute sessions, and that's what I did with her. And I think it filled in all the dots.
That's great. Now, if people want to contact you for those, how do they reach you?
Very, very simple email, paul@mediumpaul.com.
Okay. Really, really cool. And Kelly, if people want to reach you for readings, how do they reach you?
Yeah, it's at my website, www.ancientvales.ca. And there is also on my webpage a way to email me through there.
Okay. Now, it seems I was trying to answer the phone. Sorry, I'm changing the subject, but I was trying to answer the phone. A couple of people called in, and I tried to add you to the group call. And it looks like we can only take one more caller at a time this evening. So our first caller is Christopher. And Christopher, we're going to talk to you right away, and then we're going to ask you to listen online if you can, so that we can get other people to be able to call in. Most of our Skype issues have been fixed. I did answer the phone calls from two other people while I was doing the announcements, but for some reason they're not showing up on our board. So Christopher, how are you doing tonight?
I'm all right. How am I sounding?
You sound great. Really good. Do you have a question for either Paul or Kelly or both?
Both, because I'm going to discuss this because I was in a dream with people with serious counsel. Quite oddly, the first time, and I was with ancestors in the dream, and I was shown about a celebration of life ceremonies. Why am I being shown this now?
Who do you want to answer that first?
Paul.
Okay.
Well, Christopher, your mother is not transitioning right now, but she will be transitioning at some point, and it's not imminent, nothing to worry about. But I feel like you need to look at it that this is one life of thousands that she's had, and celebrate her life and not have fear or sadness or grief be the main focus. Look at it from a celebration of life point of view, because a lot of people go into a fear-based, grief-based cycle when someone passes, but we've had a lot of incarnations, and it's really a celebration of life, what you did when you were here, that we should look at. And I think they're showing you that, or trying to explain that to you, to look at it from a celebration of life side, not from the fear and the grief side.
Okay. And after that, I just had repetitive dreams about what I'm supposed to do after this. It's weird.
You have a life contract to help and assist your mother that is coming close to finish. And when it finishes, then you'll have a new assignment. And your new assignment's going to take you completely away from the life you're in right now. And I think you're starting to see the future, the new assignment, as you're finishing up the current assignment.
It'll be back to where I spent many lifetimes before.
Yes.
It'll be back home, so to speak.
Yes, you're heading east. You're heading east from the U.S. to Europe.
Yeah. You have any idea where?
It feels like you're going to be in more than one place, but you're going to ultimately end up in a city called Monte Carlo.
Oh, I know where that is. I definitely do.
Yes, he definitely knows where that is. That's priceless, Paul.
I've never been there.
Yeah, but that's priceless.
It's different. It's different than Pennsylvania. It doesn't have as many mountains.
It's different than the astral version of seeing the real thing up close.
Yeah. That's really, really interesting. How interesting. What did you get, Kelly? You were talking.
I got basically what Paul was saying, that there was grief and pain coming up, and almost like that he would feel like betrayed in his heart that this had happened, and that he needs to release that and really do some soul searching inside and get that balancing so he can move forward in the project. I also saw him going to different places in Europe because I couldn't pin it to one. I'm glad Paul could, but I couldn't pin it to one because I sort of felt he was all over the place there. So very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really interesting. Yeah, really, really accurate and really, really interesting. Because, right, Christopher?
Yeah, no wonder why I'm getting bombarded with these dreams of repeated. It's every night now.
Yeah, really.
Preparation.
Yes.
It's preparation.
Well, Christopher, it's preparing you. You needed more information, and I would look at the dreams as the information that you're going to need being given to you so you're prepared. It's positive. There's nothing negative about this.
I love all the dreams. They've all been great.
Wonderful. Well, Christopher, does anybody have anything to add? Or do you have anything to add before we
I'm
let you
just
go?
shocked by this reading. Get on.
Yeah. They're good.
Yeah, they are. I love you all.
We love
Thank
you
you.
too. Yeah, thank you,
I'm going
Christopher.
to head to the chat now, so I'll open up a chat for you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Christopher.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So with
Bye.
Christopher leaving, we have we believe that we have a spot for someone to call in on Skype. You can either send me a friend request at Spirit for Peace, FOR Peace, PEACE, Spirit for Peace, or you can call 505-908-9558, and that is my phone number for Skype. And hopefully we'll be able to add you to our group call. Until that happens, we will look for questions in chat. We do have a question from Catherine James, and I'm going to direct this at Paul. Catherine, and she is having some emotional stuff come up, and she's not really sure what it's about, so she doesn't want to call in. But Paul, can you take a look at Catherine and see what you see, and can we maybe do some helpful clearing for her, Paul and Kelly?
Yes. What I'm seeing is she's got blockages in her throat chakra. She has messages and things to say that people are not listening to, are not hearing her, and the light on the planet, all this new light that's come in, is bringing everything to the surface. And this internalized blockage in the throat chakra is like screaming to be heard, screaming to speak out. And what we need to do is to release the internalized blockage in the throat chakra. That's what I'm seeing. It's like the neck, the upper neck, the shoulder blades, the upper chest, the upper back, and the area seems kind of bound. Do you see that, Kelly?
I do, actually, and I also get for her that she needs to stop over-processing it, get out of her head a little bit, and get into her heart space and allow that healing to go up into the throat as well.
Okay, well, I do work on releasing cellular DNA, and what I'm doing now is I'm creating an extraction vortex in the throat. I don't know if can you see this, Kelly? And I'm actually pulling out the internalized energy that's all backed up and kind of blocking the chakra so it's not spinning correctly. And I'm going to ask Bahimidora Kaur and the other members of the Sirius P High Council to step in to the throat chakra and to release this blockage using their mastery.
Yeah, I can see it happening. I also get a sense that some of the unspoken stuff it comes up through the root and through from below. Are you getting that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But where it gets bottlenecked is she isn't being heard when she does try to talk or she wants to communicate. It is coming up. You're correct.
Okay. So is there more work to do, or are you going to do more, or?
Well, I'm going to just let this run so we can go on to the next call. But if she wants to do more work, she's welcome to contact me at my email, and I could work with her.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Can you hear me now? Hello?
I was on mute. Sorry.
Oh, I
Yeah,
am
Craig.
803.
I don't know if I'm first.
Yeah.
I'm 803.
Okay, 803, hang on. We're going to talk to Craig for a minute, and then we'll bring you in. Craig, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. How about you?
Good. Do you have a question for Kelly or Paul or both?
Oh, but I guess both or whoever feels like answering. But yesterday, like my electronics were turning off, and when I laid down, like I've been going through some. I've been trying to accept some like feminine energy into my life, into my being, into my way of living, and my heart's been kind of opening up more and more. And then last night I had like I was saying, my electronics were turning off, and then I don't know, like I got some weird feelings, and I just wanted to see if you guys could, like, was that real? Like, was that person's grandfather or whatever? I'm not quite sure myself.
Yeah, I'm not. What I'm getting is that there's definitely an energy around you. I get the sense that it is, since you're opening up your heart chakra, it's able to come in and connect a little bit better, and it's trying to make its presence known. It's fiddling around with the electronics. That's usually what happens when energy is arriving. The more you open up that heart, the more you're going to have a sense of the energy around you. This moment, I can't pinpoint what that energy is, but I believe that it has something to do with ancestors and also a spirit guide.
I'm also seeing that you have to let go of some stuff. That it's sort of like moving into a new house. You have to make sure it's empty. It's been cleared out. It's like you're opening your heart. There's new energy, but there's still old energy that hasn't been cleared. So it's like you can't set up a room when it's full of old furniture. You got to take the old stuff out before you put the new stuff in. It seems to me like there's some transformation stuff going on, and some of that could be creating static and interference in the house with the electronics too.
Absolutely, I agree with that, Paul. Absolutely. Yeah, when you start opening your heart chakra more, it's because you are going through growth, right? And when you're going through growth in a spiritual way, when you're opening your chakras, you are releasing old, as Paul was saying. I totally agree with that.
It's not a one-day thing. It's not a one-day thing or a one-week thing. This goes over a period of time. I know we always want to get things done right away, quick, but when you open up your heart, when you make a transformation like this, it could be 6 months, 9 months of processing as it's coming in and the old's leaving. And I feel like you're right in the middle of it.
Okay, and then some of the things that are coming into my life right now, is that distraction? Like, I don't know what that is, but it feels like it's distraction. I don't want to get too into it, but...
You know, when I talk to my spirit guides, there's one thing they always tell me. What does your gut tell you? Are you listening to your gut? Are you listening to the inklings that your guardian angels and your guides and everyone's trying to give you? Though they're giving you those gut sensations. Are you listening and paying attention to that? Because those are the things that you need to help guide you. If you don't really understand what's going on, you need to follow that.
Okay, wicked.
Cool. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Great day.
We'll see you in chat when you get back there. Next caller who had called in, I'm not seeing you on Skype, so just announce yourself. You could be from 765 or 780.
Hi.
Hi. Who is this?
This is Angel Hoosiers Nuts. You can call me Angel.
Hi, Angel.
I talked with you
last
week about my husband, and you got my husband to a T. And I was just wondering if anybody could help me out with some other things that's been attracted to me throughout my life. I don't know if they're alien or if they're spiritual, and I was just wondering if anybody picks anything up.
Who wants to go first, Kelly or Paul?
Go, why don't you go, Paul, if you've got something? I'm still trying to pick up. Is Paul there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm feeling there's some blockage in the throat chakra as well, and there's a feeling that you're not always being heard or being listened to or given equal time. I feel like you felt like you've been ignored, or you can't really speak your truth, and there's some of that is still an issue you carry forward. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I get.
Sure. So, Angel, also, are you holding some emotional stuff in? I can feel that you're holding emotional stuff in your sacral chakra, and that's part of what Paul is speaking about too. Is you're not able to get those emotions out and tell your truth to someone or about something, and so my guides are telling me there's a sense of frustration in you at times about not being able to speak about those emotions or speak your truth about how you feel about things. And I know that's what Paul is saying too. Does that sound true to you?
I hold back a lot of energy because a lot of people think I'm just out of my mind. You know, that when I see something, hear something, things like that. But I've had 2 people that passed on me, and I have not been able to express that grievance with them. It on a sour note, and sometimes I feel like I'm not being heard by them.
Yes, and so that's exactly what Paul and I are talking about. Is coming from the sacral chakra, is coming from those emotions. They're bottling up, and as Paul is saying, your throat chakra is closed, and it's not letting that out. And so there needs to be some release done on those areas.
The other thing is your emotions are not free to give positive emotions to your family, just in life in general, until you do this release. So in some ways, you're emotionally not able to be at 100%. You may be at 80% because there's stuff that's frustrated or bound with negative emotions, or feeling hurt or feeling thwarted because you're not being heard. So as you release this, you have more emotions for positive things. It's very positive to release it, even if it feels painful right now. While you're carrying it, you do want to release it, and you'll feel much better.
Yes, Paul's absolutely right about that.
Angel, does that help you? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does make sense. But are you wanting me to release it physically or just a meditative way? I don't know which one you're wanting me to do.
Emotionally, mentally, physically, it'll release on all levels as it's fully released.
Yeah, but it's more a method. You know, I think her question goes to method. So, like for me, sometimes if I felt stuck, I would just hum whatever, hum a tone that would come to me, and that would shake things out. Or I would journal about things that I didn't want to see. Or I would, I might breathe into my throat and into my sacrum. Kelly, do you have any other ideas about releases?
A really wise mentor, my mentor told me once when I was dealing, I had such a bad blocked throat chakra that if you held a crystal to it, I would gag. Like it was so blocked. So she told me to go out and speak, just find a private place and speak. Say everything I had to say about the situation, about whoever was involved, my feelings, why did you do this, what happened, I feel upset, I feel grieved, let it all out. Because when you do the spoken word, it creates a different vibration, and then you just let it all out. The other way to do that is, like you said, is to journal it all down and put it all down, right? And find a way to get it out. But for her, because her throat is so blocked, it would be really great if she could speak it out. Everything about the situations that are bothering her.
That's the best way, what Kelly said, to speak it out.
So,
okay, well, I do a lot of speaking. My poor animals probably think I'm really nuts, but I do speak everything out of frustration, and I've been a journalist. You know, I do all the techniques that you've just mentioned, so that's why I'm kind of confused. What am I not getting out? How am I not doing it?
Well, you know, I have to say this, Angel. It's not like, you know, you get it out and then you're done. It's like then you have the next thing that you get out, and then you have the next thing that you get out, and then you have the next thing. Because, you know, I've been releasing stuff since I was 24, and it's now, I won't tell you how many decades later, but it's, you know, and so people think, what people will sometimes come to me and they'll say, oh, well, I've done this kind of technique and that kind of technique, and, you know, it helped for a little while, and then I stopped, and it's like, these are things that you use for, you know, maintenance. You just keep doing it, and then
right.
You get,
Yeah, so I think the best thing, Angel, to do is pick one thing that you want to work on, one thing particular that's foremost in your mind, and speak the truth about it. Everything about it that hurt you, didn't hurt you, why did you do that, why not, and then stop. And then you go back a couple days later, and then you start speaking again, and other things will start coming up. And, you know, Elizabeth is right. It is a process. I've gone through releases where I thought that I've released everything, and 4 years later, those fine layers, those little layers that are still remaining, creep up and come through. So it is a process, but you have to start somewhere, and that's where I would say you need to start, is just pick one thing and start working on it verbally.
The other thing that's real important is to let go of the story and not keep the story internalized, because whatever happened isn't you. It's a situation that you encountered during your life. You want to let it go, and you want to forgive yourself, forgive the people, so that the emotions attached to this are neutral. Right now, the emotions are not neutral. So that's a little bit further down the line, but talk about it, speak it, and then you want to get to a place of peace and let go of the story, and then it's neutral and it can't hurt you. Once it's neutral, it doesn't have any harmful effect on your health or on your future. So you want to get neutral, and usually forgiveness and letting go of the story helps to get totally neutral.
Absolutely. And when you can speak it without having emotion behind it, then you've reached that point.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. Makes a lot of sense.
Thanks, Angel. Thanks for calling in, and thanks for your question.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in the chat room. We've got other callers who are on. We are looking at a couple of 604s and a 765. I think 765 is first, if you want to go ahead and talk. Tell us.
Hi, Elizabeth. It's Amanda.
Amanda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Amanda, what is your question, and who's it for?
Okay, actually, both of them, because I'm kind of interested in what they both say. It's two questions, but they should be pretty quick and uncomplicated, I hope. I was in class on Saturday. I'm not going to say what my class is, but I was in class on Saturday, and I felt, and I even heard, somebody that nobody else saw, pacing back and forth behind me. So, but I don't know if that person was trying to get my attention or maybe somebody else's in the class, but it was rather interesting that it was happening in the class particularly that I'm taking.
Interesting. Let's see if I can click into this. I get the sense that it was a gentleman, and I don't feel that he's totally connected to you. I feel like he's connected to that room or that space. Now, I'd like to know what Paul thinks about that.
There's a connection, but I don't feel it feels in some ways shadowy, like he didn't introduce himself. He didn't come through the front door. It's like there's a presence there, but it's not it's not fully disclosed in a comfortable way. It's just there, and you've got to try to. It's like a riddle or something.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the first class that I went to in the same room, I didn't feel him, but this time I could literally, and I felt that it was a male presence, just kept pacing back and forth between a row of about 3 or 4 of us, and it kept happening over and over again.
Yeah, he's kind of coming in a vague way, which is what he's doing to you as well. He's also doing that to me. He's being vague.
But that's confusing for most people if you don't have like a focal point. Like, what does this mean, or what's the message, or what do I do with this? Most people don't know what to do.
Yeah, he can just keep pacing till he's ready.
Yeah, and so obviously this is a person spirit. I wouldn't get a spirit guide or an angel doing that sort of behavior. So to me, it seems more like a soul that's passed. And so when he's ready, he's definitely going to let you know.
Okay. And then and I got goosebumps talking about it. That's true. Well, we'll see what he does next Saturday if he even shows up, because he wasn't there for the first class. But I kept looking back because I really kept hearing it, and I thought somebody was legit behind me. It was so weird. Yeah. So my second question.
Sorry, if you're a sensitive, you're like a beacon of light. So, of course, they'll come if they're anywhere nearby, right?
Yeah. I get a few visitors now and then in these most odd places and some not so odd places. Hospitals really like me, so I don't really like hospitals because of that. But
yeah.
And then they can get uncomfortable. My second question is, where am I going to go, or where am I supposed to go career-wise over the next 6 months to a year? Or I could also ask, am I on the right track taking the course that I am?
Can you go, Paul? I need a moment.
Yeah. Okay. What I'm getting is there's something that you have passion for, that you really would like to do, that you really believe in, that you're not doing, and that's the type of work, or that's professionally what you should be doing. I feel like you're doing something that's just a job. You're not really passionate about it. You should go to where you just feel very strongly, you're very passionate, you really like and really relate to, not just do something to make a paycheck. And there's an area that you're interested in that you haven't done or aren't doing that you should be working in. I'm not being shown the specifics. I'm being shown it's an area that you light up. You get all excited. You probably can't wait to get to work in the morning once you started, and you're going to really be enthusiastic. You need the job to be something that's really, really your passion, not just a job.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I think that could be said for pretty much everybody.
Yeah, and I'm just going to piggyback onto Paul's message there, is that Spirit's telling me that there has to be a sense of belief that you can make the achievement and the changes, right? That you're going to have to look into yourself and find that strength and belief that can go on. And they're talking to me about you doing manifestation and setting intention for your highest and best for these things to happen, so that when you make an intention, believing in your head, when it leaves your head, that you will achieve, instead of going like, oh, yeah, I think I can. No, you need to set the intention that, yes, this is happening for me, and have that belief in yourself, and that will enable you to move forward.
Okay. Right now, do you guys know what I'm doing? I work in supported housing with mental health and addictions, which I do very much love, but I'm burning out from it. But I'm actually taking the Death Doula course right now. Is what I'm 2 more weeks that I'm finished. So
I have a very good friend taking that course. Yes. A very close friend of mine is taking that course. Yes, it's an excellent course. And that's why this message that I gave you makes sense, because you have to have belief and you have to have that strength inside yourself to move forward in this kind of work, right?
Yeah.
You have to be confident. Yeah.
I'm pretty darn sure in the area that I want to do it in that I'm probably the right person for it. But it's
And
new
you
work,
also have to
as
be,
most of us know.
you have to be passionate about it, really dedicated, because it's not easy for most people. If you're not really 100% in, it's gonna not be something you'd want to do.
No, I already know that I'm 100% in. I did yeah, I know.
Are you connected with your guides?
I had a spirit guide named Cassandra come through about a year ago, and she only stuck around for a couple months, and then I have not seen or felt or heard anybody else since.
So, as Paul was speaking, I channel Archangel Azrael, who is the angel of death, but he's so much more encompassing than that. And he is saying that you should get acquainted with him when you're working in this work, because he is the receiver of the souls, and he is the comforter of the living that remain. So his name is spelled
Archangel
Azrael, Azrael.
Okay.
All right.
That I will do. And I got goosebumps as he said that, so
there you go.
That tells me that's the way to go. Thank you so much, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks for calling in.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, and be well. And I hope your course goes great. We have some questions from the chat before we go to our next caller. Vivian, Paul, who you read for last time, would like to know what Paul feels about the energy between herself, her son, and her daughter-in-law.
Okay. Between herself, her son, and the daughter-in-law, it feels like the son has to make a shift, and if he makes the shift, things will be better with the daughter-in-law, the son, and her. But I feel the son is being a little reticent or stubborn about making the shift. Is that correct?
She will write back from the chat, so we will look for her follow-up. And what about you, Kelly? What
Does
did
it
you
feel
get?
like, I was going to ask Paul if he felt he was stuck in the middle. The son was stuck in the middle. Yeah.
He is, but he has an opinion, and he has to make a effort to resolve this. He can't just sit on the fence and do nothing. And I feel like he hasn't really done his part. And once he does his part, everything can move forward. But right now, it's very awkward and very uncomfortable.
No, I totally agree with you. He's sitting on the fence. He's sitting in the middle, and he's just letting things happen and leaving everything so unsure for the other two people. So, yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Goodness. Now we have somebody in the... No, have we lost everybody? We have somebody from 604. A caller.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great. Who is this?
Yeah. It's Bonita.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
And who is your question for?
It's for Paul or Kelly. And what I want to know is, in my past lives, is there any karma or blockages being caused by karma that are affecting this life that I'm in right now?
Paul, you know what?
I want to just say that there's some things you need to do to work through the karma, and if you do them, you'll release it and work it out. But the karma is not the problem. It's your approach to the karma that's critical to resolve it. And I feel there's some areas that you feel stuck or aren't moving, or you need to address, and you can almost tell like where the karma is, because it's the areas that need to change, the areas that need new thinking and need a different approach. And if you do that, you'll release the karma. It's not like the karma is some evil thing. The karma is there for you to work through so you can be freed up to move forward and evolve.
Can you tell which areas those are? Sorry? Hello?
Yeah. Oh, hi. Hi, Benita. I know
Hi.
Benita. So I wanted Paul to go first. Hi, Benita. Yeah. The areas in the karma, because I work in the Akasha, the areas that the guides are showing me is areas that you've carried over are in self-esteem, as you know, right? Self-worth, ability to open your throat chakra and have a voice and not hold the emotions in your other chakras. These are the things that you have to work on. And your throat chakra is one of your blockage areas because there is need for you to have a voice in certain circumstances in your life to allow freedom and creativity to flow for you. There's also a need to not be procrastinating and move forward and take those steps that Spirit are giving to you. There's a hesitancy to step back because of self-esteem, self-worth issues, and a lack of voice, and this is holding you back from the bounty that Spirit is trying to move you towards.
So I have known of my blockages in the throat chakra, but I've tried to release it and get past it, and I just don't seem to be able to make any progress.
Maybe Paul
Do
you want me to You want me to
How are you
re-say what I
trying-
said
how-
before? Yeah, it takes a long time. Keep going. Sorry.
Well, you have to speak your truth, and you have to say it, whether you say it in a private place, just get everything out, but you have to let go of the story, forgive yourself, forgive the people for all the problems, all the difficulties you've been through, and just let it all go and kind of make peace that they did the best they could, you did the best you could, and it is what it is, and you're forgiving them, forgiving yourself, and just speak it all. And it's a slow process, but as you release it, you'll get neutral, which I think Kelly mentioned too, that once you know you're neutral, then it's gone. And there's a letting go of the story, there's speaking it, there's forgiveness, and there's a process of just saying everything that comes to your mind as you're going through it. And a lot of times people can't do all of that in one sitting or in one effort. They need to do it over time because whatever happened was so horrific or so painful. They just have to work on it in bite-sized pieces or just go through it. And I feel like you just need to keep working on it, write it down, come up with like all the things that are needing to be released, and then speak it, forgive, let go of the story, and you'll feel better. But it's a process. It doesn't happen in one day or 1 week
or a year.
Yeah, and Benita, I would say to you that right now you're still living a part of that story. You haven't completely resolved a piece of story that's going on with you now with others in your life. And so that piece of that story has to come out through the throat chakra to allow you to move forward in that relationship.
Okay. Yeah. Does it have to be spoken directly to the person, or can it be written down to myself and release?
It can be written down, or you go to a private place. It's much better when it's your throat chakra involved. It's really is better if you speak it. So go to a private place, scream, yell, cry, talk about every feeling, how, what, who, you hurt me, you did this, why are you doing this, this makes me feel this way, and just let it all out. And you're going to do it one day, then maybe you're going to go back in a couple of days and do it again, and it's going to be a bit of a process to get it all through.
Okay. So, in other
I
words,
say
it doesn't have to be spoken.
Well, actually,
Absolutely.
Can I say something about this? Because, Bonita, I have similar issues. Like, whenever anything comes up, it goes in my throat chakra. And part of it is as Paisley would say, my first name is Amy, my middle name's Elizabeth. I switched to using my middle name, which is Fiery, which is like, straight ahead. But Amy used to always do things in order just to get along. She would just flow around things, and she would never really be incredibly direct with people, like, no, you're pushing my buttons, you are walking all over me. She was a doormat. And now I'm working on this new energy of not being the doormat. And so sometimes when I speak it to myself, I actually do need to speak it to the other person in order for me to really make a boundary, like, well, you would like me to be able to do this in relationship with you, but I actually can't, because it doesn't feel right to me, and I wouldn't be in my integrity if I went on doing it that way. So you want to have some discernment about what you're speaking. Sometimes it's important to be direct but not harmful, because you really do need to stick up for yourself, and you may need to set a boundary, and you may actually need to speak your truth to the other person. It may be great for them if you just keep on letting them do whatever it is they're doing. But if it's not great for you, at some point, in order to actually clear it, you need to speak it to them. No, this does not work for me. It makes me feel this way, and I don't want to feel this way. And so we either need to change this situation or make a new agreement. And this goes to being victimized by anybody, being victimized by aliens, being victimized in a relationship, or feeling victimized. And instead of, we can say it to ourselves all we want, but at some point, if we really are feeling like the story is not working for us, we need to change the story actively with the people who are in the story with us. That's just my opinion about it, because I go through this all the time, and I've been going through it for years, that I'm too easy to deal with. And then I get myself in situations where I have to back up and say, no, this actually doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. We need to do something different. Does that make sense, Bonita?
Yes, it does, completely. Yeah, and I would agree with Elizabeth. Bonita, in your circumstance, because I know what it is, I would say go and get rid of all that emotional pain and that anger first, and then speak to the other person.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with everything. Thank you for calling in and asking that question. It helps me a lot to hear somebody else with a similar issues.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonita. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have some more questions from the chat room. I like Bob Davis in the SOR Space Travelers chat room has a couple of questions. I'm going to ask the second question first. And he says, how did Kelly feel the day before and of 9/11? And I think this is for everyone, but Kelly can go first. What messages did she get then, if any?
The day before 9/11, I remember very specifically, I was very nervous that day. I was agitated, and I was very snappy with everyone, and I really didn't understand why. And as an empath, I was thinking, what am I taking on around me? Like, is this me, or have I taken on somebody else's stuff? But I really didn't come to any conclusions about that. And then 9/11 happened. And when 9/11 happened, I was so distraught with the human photos and pictures that were coming in my face off of the TV that I was just in a shutdown almost. I was very physically upset, and I was really having a hard time. And I really had to call to my guides and helpers, and I had to push it away and say, like, this doesn't belong to me. This is all the pain in the world that I'm feeling right now, all the pain that's going on. And I had to try and set a shield for myself because it was just too much for me. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, did you have anything that happened around 9/11
Well,
that you remember?
Yeah, definitely. I flew from Orlando to San Jose, California on 9/10, and on 9/11 I was in Modesto, California, and I was supposed to fly back east on 9/12, and of course the airlines were shut down for most of the week. But I felt a lot of anxiety on the flights out west. It was, I think, 2 planes to get there, and there was a tension or something. And I'm a very super sensitive empath, and I could feel things weren't right. But at the time, I was working in corporate America, and I had an appointment. I had to go, so I just went. But it was a very uneasy feeling on the plane.
Okay. Well, so there you have our 9/11 question. We are just before the break. Paul, if people want to contact you for a session, how do they do that?
My email is paul@mediumpaul.com, and my website is www.mediumpaul.com.
Excellent.
Either way.
Great. Wonderful. And Kelly, if people want to contact you?
Yeah, my website is ancientvales.ca, or they can reach me on my email at ancientvales@gmail.com.
Excellent. And both Kelly and Paul are actively working with people right now doing readings. I also do readings. This is Elizabeth Anglin. You know how to reach me, elizabethanglin.com. And this is Cosmic Passport. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back after the break with another hour of readings. If you want to call in, the number's 505-908-9558, or you can type your question in all caps in the chat room. We'll be right back after these messages. See ya on the other side.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at SpacedOutRadio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
There's stories, then there's the truth. Do any of us really trust the news anymore? This is Jamie Sexton, owner of Rebel Planet News. The third Thursday of every month, I appear on SpacedOutRadio.com to bring you the truth you deserve, without mainstream media lies or alternative media fear-mongering. We'll get to the heart of the story and deliver the truth you are seeking. So come join us here for the Rebel Planet at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Not ready for bed on Saturday night? Right after Spaced Out Saturdays, hop on over to S4 with Corey Ruiz and me, Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. With S4, there are no limits to what we try and uncover. From government conspiracies to helping clean up the paranormal, no topic is safe on S4. We get to the heart of the matter, of the subjects you want to learn more about. So tune in on S4 starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, only on SpacedOutRadio.com.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with U4Cop. On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com to the final Monday of every month from Butch Witkowski's Strange Days.
This is Eric Markham, news editor for the Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter Online. We have put together a great team of writers and journalists from all over the world to bring you top-quality paranormal stories, from alien encounters to the latest conspiracies. You won't find any of that fake news here. True stories and top-notch reporting as we look to bring these experiences to the mainstream. The Encounter Online, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Do you want to know the truth? Do UFOs exist? Are aliens real? Are the governments hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO seekers, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along with us as we journey across the United States, visiting UFO hotspots and alien hotspots, trying to document the UFO phenomenon. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Become more intimate and interactive with Spaced Out Radio. Join our Space Travelers Club with your new membership. For $5 a month, we'll provide you with special access to the website, monthly prize draws from books to psychic readings, along with monthly newsletter, private interviews, and more. Sign up today to be part of Spaced Out Radio's experience.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Don't have time to listen to Spaced Out Radio live? Wherever you are, the car, the office, the shower, or even if you're traveling, we're right here for you. Each Spaced Out Radio show can be found on iTunes, TuneIn, and on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. It's the perfect way for you to catch up on our shows. For more information, just head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, and tune in to us today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
We are lighting the void on Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio. Hey, this is Joe Roop, and I'm hanging out in SOR headquarters every Saturday night, bringing you the latest news when it comes to the weird and strange. Bigfoot, occult, UFOs, ghosts, and everything in between, I got you covered. You can tune in to SpacedOutRadio.com starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time. Come travel into the void with us on Spaced Out Saturdays.
The views and opinions expressed by tonight's guests and topic of discussion do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of Spaced Out Radio, Spaced Out Weekend, Spaced Out Radio Limited, its hosts, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with this broadcast. Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. And hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag SpacedOutRadio. Now, back to Elizabeth Anglin and SOR.
Stop. Okay, hi, this is Elizabeth Anglin. We are back. This is SpacedOutRadio.com, Cosmic Passport, Psychic Sundays. I have psychics going wild over here. Absolutely wild. You have no idea what's been happening in the break. There's been gyroscopes and portals and all sorts of stuff. But before we go back into that with your questions, we are going to have some announcements that we normally do. Yes, this is Cosmic Passport. I'm coming to you live from Madrid, New Mexico, as I do every Sunday. For all of you listening in from around North America and the world, Thank you for the folks who are coming in from WQEE 99 Rock the Key in Noonan, Georgia, at SpacedOutRadio.com on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, and the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and on KTLK The Fringe. We also want to thank Ron Bumblefoot Thal, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy. Thank you for creating the music for Spaced Out Radio. We love that you do that for us. If you are on Twitter, check us out at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like at Spaced Out Radio Show. On Facebook, you can follow me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio. It is no longer Spaced Out Radio Show. That's gone away, but Spaced Out Radio is where you go on YouTube to hear all the archives. Go there. Tune us in on TuneIn. Download our shows from iTunes. We are also on RadioGuide.fm, TalkStream Live, and on Stitcher. And, of course, our website is SpacedOutRadio.com. If you go to Patreon.com, we have some very cool offers for you, our listeners, there as well. Make sure you check those out. If you want to take part in the show, you'll have to sign into one of our chat rooms on Spreaker or on the chat room on Facebook at the SOR Space Travelers Club. Now, we are taking questions from chat tonight. If you put them in all caps, I will try to keep track of those for you. If you go to our website, spacedoutradio.com, for $5 a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. We offer some decent stuff for folks who go there as well. Tonight we have two wonderful galactic mediums, Kelly Delbianco and Paul Simons. And we are having them come back to answer your questions for Psychic Sunday. And, it's going to be a fun last hour, I think, because these guys were just doing some really cool stuff with shielding and grounding just before we came back. Paul and Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Very good. It's a great show tonight. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I want to say thanks to all the callers who have called in. We do have space for another caller to call in. We don't have anybody on the line. The number is 505-908-9558. I know we've got some questions in the Spreaker chat room. The first question in the Spreaker chat room is from Jennifer, and she says, I have a question about a guy that I had some interest in last year. Can you tell me anything about that relationship and what his real intentions were? His name is Jared, and whoever wants a shot at that, go right ahead.
Okay, well, I'm giving, Spirit's sort of giving me the sense that he was someone that was interested in her, but only to a certain extent because of some blockages in her that are blocking the relationship patterns.
Could you speak more on that? Because the next part of her question is, should I give the relationship another try?
That's a good question, right, Paul?
It's yeah. Go ahead.
Well, there's a need for her to work on some of her relationship patterns herself, because those patterns are still going to repeat if she goes back with this gentleman. And those patterns aren't helping her to move forward in relationships. And so there's got to be some recognition and growth from her on her side.
Okay, Paul.
I feel that this man wanted more of an informal friends with benefits type of relationship, and she wanted more of a serious committed relationship, possibly leading to marriage, or that was the intention, and he's not looking for that. There's a fundamental difference, and she's got some real dependency or need or a goal, and she's not that open to a friends with benefits relationship. And I feel if she goes back with him, he's going to only go so far, which is what Kelly first started mentioning, and it's going to be traumatic or upsetting for her, because I don't think she just wants a friend or a casual, informal, friends with benefits type relationship.
Yeah, and the question becomes, why is she, I always say, why is your picker off? Why are you picking this type, right? So that goes back to her needing to look at why she's going towards this type.
And that requires her to do some releasing and change the programming, because she's attracting a certain vibration, a certain type, even though she says she wants something else.
Jennifer, you and I, we need to go have coffee, and we need to talk about this very seriously, because we're in the same situation. And I'm not even going to tell you how old I am. But, yeah, I hear you guys. I hope that helped for you. Jennifer, if you want to give us a shout back for a second part of the question, or just let us know how they did, that would be great. We are Bob Davis in the SOR Space Travelers chat room. His first question was, when you read, do you read into the future? Do you read the now? Do you read people from the past? What are you guys reading in your psychic connections?
Do you want to go first, Paul, or do you want me to?
You go first, okay?
Okay. So when I'm reading, they're giving me, I get whatever they're putting in me, I'm getting it. So when you have, like right now, when people are asking questions about here and now, that's the information that I'm getting. If you're asking me a question about the future, the way that Spirit works with me, they're going to ask you to create your future. So I'm not so much a future person. Like if you want to ask me, am I going to get married next year? You're not going to get an answer from me personally. Spirit will probably tell you all the things that you need to work on to get to that point. And past, yes, I do Akashic Records. I'm work a lot in the past and get a lot of that information as well.
Well, I read past, present, and future, but sometimes in the future, nothing's set in stone until people exercise their free will. And it's different. If you asked me, like, did this fellow go to dinner last night with his family, or was he doing something else? I can look in the past and I can see what's happened. I can pretty well predict what's happening right now because there's not too many variables, but there's a lot of free will with future stuff. One time I was reading on an international psychic line, and I was asked, is Clark going to have dinner with me, and is he going to pick me up today? And I said, he's going to pick you up, and he's going to have dinner, and he's going to pick you up by 5. Well, I got a very bad feedback that he came at 5:10. He was 10 minutes late, and my prediction was totally wrong. And I looked at it a little further. Well, his father called him, and he had to take the call, and it ran a little longer. And things that are going to happen in the future are not set in stone. So I wasn't actually right. He didn't take her out at 5. He took her out at 5:10. But you can't guarantee things are going to happen exactly at a certain time in the future because there's a lot of variables. And people sometimes think we're God or something. We're not. We're reading the most likely outcome based on all the variables at the time we ask the question. But sometimes people expect the impossible from readers, and you can't really guarantee outcomes in the future because there is free will on every decision. So that's kind of a tricky thing, the future readings.
Yes, and not only do you have free will, but everybody you're intersecting with to make that outcome happen has free will that could change your outcome. So,
right.
Yeah, totally agree with Paul.
But a lot of people would say 99.9% accurate. When you factor in free will, it's like 66% accurate, but no one wants to say 66% accurate because it doesn't sound like a very good ratio. But there is no guarantee that all the factors are going to fall one way. Things can change up till the time it happens.
Okay. Bob Davis, please clarify your comments. I think you're being facetious, and I can't imagine that the comments that you've made in the SOR Space Travelers are anything but satire and facetious. He says fake, laugh out loud. I think he about what you're saying in terms of your forward or in the future stuff. I think he's being facetious. Because he is Bob. He is our announcer. He is the Spaced Out Radio announcer dude. So why else would he be here if we thought all psychics were fakes? We're not. We're just not 99. Most of us are not 99.9% correct, especially about things in the future. This begs a question for me, because I know from my reading a lot in animal communication, and there's an animal communicator that I just love, Penelope Smith, who's been around forever. She puts it out on her website. She has an animal communicators list. She says nobody's really ever more than 80% correct about anything. I mean, you can have great days where you're 96, 98, or you have that one reading where the questions are short enough and easy enough that it's above. But when you factor it all out, you can tell people 80% and be fairly certain you're going to hit it. What do you think, Paul, when it comes down to people saying, I am a 99.9% accurate medium / animal communicator / psychic? What do you guys feel about this?
It's not possible. It's not possible to be that accurate because there are too many factors, too many variables that are fluid. What you see is the most likely outcome at the time the question's asked, but it's still in motion and there's still variables that haven't been finalized. So you get the strongest outcome, and you're probably going to be right, like you said, 80%. I'm saying only 2/3, like 66%, because if you get someone who asks, like, am I going to change jobs in 2018? What about 2019? That's like very forward, and who knows what's going to happen next year. There may be things where you get a job and you stay in it for 10 years, or you may have turnover. There's a lot of things that the variables are too much of a factor to guarantee like 99% accuracy.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And if you're making, when you're reading for someone and they're asking you those future questions, Paul's right. The variables are huge, and you may make a decision to do something. And so let's say, for example, I said, "Oh, don't drive down that road because Spirit's saying that there might be something going on there." Well, you're going to use your free will and not drive down that road, but you might get curious and drive down that road, like and then some. It happens or it doesn't, depending on what time you drove down that road, right? Because maybe you were meant to drive down that road sooner. So the variables are just incredible.
Yeah, they really are. And sometimes, I find Spirit gives advice, like they're really great. The way to handle this is this, and that's really the best thing for mediumship is just some really sound advice on working through things versus when you're calling in and you want to know what the future is going to be. It's not fated. It's never fated. We all have free will. There are some things that have really strong indicators, but that's in the lower percentage rates of things that you'll ever look at, right, guys?
Yep.
Right. But there's also another thing. A lot of people will not read more than a year out. They will not read like 5 years in the future. They'll read the next 12 months. But a lot of clients will want you to read like the next 5 years or 10 years. So there's a certain amount of discretion, like will you answer that question, or are you going to rephrase it for the next 12 months? Because variables get expeditiously bigger the more time goes on. So when you start talking 5 years, 10 years, there's too many factors. There's too much that could change.
Right. About any specific thing, yes. Okay, Kelly, sorry I cut you off. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you're doing the reading for someone and they want to know, like, what's going to happen 2 years from now with my job, And just like what Paul was saying, you're doing a reading and you're talking about the stuff, for me anyways, when I'm doing the reading, we're doing a soul perspective as well. So we're looking at the stuff that you need to work on in yourself, things that are blocked, things that are holding you back from moving forward. And if I give you information from a year from now, if you haven't done any of that work that was brought up during the reading, that is going to affect that outcome a year from now.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're not willing to do work, then don't expect the work that the outcome that you would have gotten if you did the work. Okay, I'm going to change the subject because we have a question from the Spreaker chat room. Kevin in the Spreaker chat room is saying, "Hi Paul, I was wondering if I have anything like attachments or do I just need an energy tune-up?" And Paul is looking at that. That's why we don't hear any sound right now, because he is looking at your energy field, Kevin. Are you still with us, Paul?
He's scanning him.
Yeah. I just heard something.
Yeah, he's just doing a scan on him. You're with us, Paul?
No, we lost him. Boy, he was doing
okay,
such a...
So,
wait, no, I see... No, I think we lost him. So we're going to wait for Paul to call back in. Kelly, do you want to give a stab at it?
Yeah, I get a sense that you might have an attachment. And that I think there needs to be some work done to get rid of that attachment.
Okay. And what kind of work do you think that he might want to do?
I'm just trying to peg into that attachment, and I think it has to do with some, it's attached because of some emotional thing. There's something emotional, and it's attached because of that, and he may need some help getting that attachment off, actually.
Okay. And that might be something that we can look at when Paul comes back. It's so common, isn't it, that when we get emotional about something or we feel a strong emotion that attachments just love that, especially if it's something like sadness or grief or frustration or anger.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if there was some emotional stuff going on with him at this point, or something recently had happened.
Yes, so
because that would be an indicator, right?
Yes, absolutely. So give us a shout about anything that you feel free to share on the chat room about what's been going on, and we will look at that a little more closely for you. And hopefully we're going to get Paul back. Hopefully he will call. I'm going to give him some time to do that. He is in Brazil, so it could be that and he is on satellite, and so it could be that the satellite has moved out of the way. Oh, here he comes. Hold on one second. Or somebody is coming in. I don't think this is Paul. Hello, 503 area code. Who
Hi, this is. Are we live, Elizabeth?
We certainly are.
Okay, this is Johnny from Speaker Chat Room. I haven't been commenting in the Speaker Chat Room. I just got home from work not too long ago.
Okay.
But I have a question for Paul. Did we get Paul back yet?
We haven't gotten him back yet. We don't actually know what's going on because he is in Brazil, so it could be a Skype issue, but he does have another phone, so I'm just waiting for him to call and see if he will call in. I think he will momentarily, if all is well, if he hasn't had, a power outage or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to ask Kelly a question?
Kelly, yes. I thought to ask Paul this question, so I would like to address Paul as well at my question, and to Kelly, both. This is my question, and it's a tough question. It's one of life's big questions, okay? This has frustrated me in my entire life. life just seems like such a big mystery. Of course, it seems that way to most people. But what is my main purpose here in life? Why? What should I mainly be working on in this particular life?
Oh, isn't this the question of the hour, right?
Exactly.
This is a question I get from all my clients all the time. I don't understand my purpose or my path. I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. So I want to ask you, are you connected to your guides? Yeah. So you talk to your guides regularly?
No, I don't. I haven't connected with my guides, neither in my dream time nor in my meditation time. I don't have any specifics on who my guides are. So no, I would have to say no to that.
Okay, so you're not receiving their external information to help you find your purpose, right?
Not in a conscious way. Perhaps I haven't been asking the right questions or something, or not been earnest enough about it. I don't know.
So there definitely needs to be some work on your connections so that you can receive more information to move towards true purpose or true path, right?
Okay.
It's easy to know in your gut if you are in the right job or if you're in the right space. Does your gut tell you, I'm happy here, I'm fulfilled here? Do I feel happy doing this? To me, what Spirit is saying is there's a sense of you finding fulfillment within yourself, which then brings fulfillment into your external world, which then shows you more of a purpose. The sense from them is that this frustration lives inside of you. You have some frustration that lives inside of you, and it's not only from seeking purpose and dealing with these frustrations and this need to fill. So it's showing me that, now let me just ask Spirit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 3. They want to tell me that there's been about 1 to 3 situations in your life that have caused you some pain or trauma, and you're holding frustration still inside with that. And you need to find a way, and I don't know if you listened to the show earlier about speaking your truth, speaking it out, getting your frustrations out, and find that center balance. Yeah, find the center balance in you, right? And when you find more center balance in you, then you're able to be more living in the moment. And when you're living in the moment, then your guides are more easily to show you purpose, even when you're not fully connected. Does that make better sense to you?
Yes, it does, actually. Yeah. I was just commenting to a friend of mine on Facebook named Cheryl, and she's a good friend of mine online, and she's very tuned in, and she said she would look at some parts that I might be struggling with. She would look at it in her meditation and with her guides and see what she could do. But I know that I have to do the work, but I need to know what to do and how to go about it. But your reading has given me a lot more insight into what I need to work on. So that I appreciate that very much.
Perfect. You're welcome.
And I think Paul is back. Paul, did you have an answer for us? I believe he's back. I see him in my Skype. Oh, no, he's gone again. He was back for a little bit. Crap. And now he's gone again. well, hopefully he should be able to call right back in. Let me see if I have a message from him.
So I want you to go back and look at those 1 to 3 situations in your life and get those dealt with that were very kind of pivotal.
I know.
Yeah.
In my mind, as soon as you said that, I knew exactly what situations you're talking about. They're very obvious in my life. So.
Yeah. Paul's back, I believe. Paul, are you back? All right, I see him. I just can't hear him.
Hey, Paul.
We can't hear you. Are you on mute, my brother? Are you on mute? Okay.
So we're just going to ask Spirit to make sure they connect Paul, please.
Yes, please connect Paul to us. We can see him, but we cannot hear him.
Aw.
So I see he's here. Maybe that was all you needed for tonight in terms of.
Well, when he comes back, would you also ask him my question? He probably has heard it already, but he just hasn't been able to speak on it yet.
Yes, we will do that thing.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Bless you. I'm going to hang up now. Have a good night.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Johnny.
Thank you too.
Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, so we have, I'm not sure what's going on with Skype, but we have some questions in the SOR Space Travelers chat room. And we're about to get a phone call from Catherine, which I hope to receive very shortly. So here's one, and I think as an Akashic Record reader, maybe you can make this sort of a general, like if anything pops up. Robin in the SOR Space Travelers chat room wants to know what's going to happen in his life, and we all said be more specific, but actually sometimes it works to not be specific. So do you see anything, Kelly, in the Akashic for Robin that might help him up?
Yeah, Robin has some contracts that he needs to clear up from his Akasha,
okay.
which will help him for forward momentum. So it's very difficult to clear your contracts yourself. He would need to see someone who does Akashic Records or a psychic medium that can go in and clear out those records for him, because he is holding some contracts. Now, one of these contracts is financial, that is causing money to slip through the fingers or never seem to have enough. I don't feel like he's poverty-stricken, but the money just doesn't seem to flow as well as it should for him. The other contract is about that he's holding is about self, and it's about Spirit is saying self-love, about needing to be more self-loving and more self-forgiving of self, and he holds that in a contract too that he brings from another life. So these are issues that he needs to work on so that he can move forward and have a very productive life, have better money flow, and have better, I want to say, self-confidence in every situation. And this is going to help him to propel his life forward.
Okay, Robin, I hope you heard that. We've got some callers calling in. Brent, you're trying to call in, but it's going to put everybody on hold for some reason, so that I'm not going to be able to answer you, Brent. We also have Catherine, who is in the Skype room here. Catherine, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad, I'm a lot better than what I was earlier, that's for sure.
Oh, good. So this is Catherine, who you guys worked on a little bit with the throat.
Oh, okay.
And Catherine, you have another mediumship question, don't you?
In a way, yeah. I will be changing my middle and my last name soon. And I have an ancestor. Her name is Anaheim Seidel. And I've always felt connected to her, and she's always been kind of around. But I was wondering if you could possibly find out or give me an idea if it's okay if I assume part of her name.
Okay. Now, I have a little lady stepping forward for you with gray permed hair. Would that sound right?
That actually sounds like my grandma, Charlotte.
Okay, so that's Grandma coming forward, but that's okay, because grandmas will sometimes step forward, right? So let me just ask her what she's got to say. Yeah. So she's talking to me about take that big personality of yours and put any stamp or any name on it you want, because you are you regardless. And that is her message. That's Grandma's message.
Okay. And just, is it okay if I ask one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The best way I can put it is, who hides out in my closet?
Who hides out in your closet?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a couple questions because I have an idea. So, what do you feel when you sense that being in your closet? Is it fear?
No.
Okay.
It's friendly.
Is it, you feel friendly. You don't feel anything fearful from it yourself.
Oh, no, there was one night I straight up said, "Oh, hi, how are you doing? Go ahead. I don't mind. I'm going to go to sleep."
Yeah, because I get the sense that this is someone passing through that's connected and has found you and is connected there and is hiding in the closet. This is not an ancestor of yours. This is what we want to call a bypasser, right? That come in, they're connected to the light that you shine. And they are stuck here, and they are in your closet, and that is where they'll stay unless you can help them to move forward and move on into the light.
Is there any idea of a name?
I know that it's a man.
Would you like me to clear it right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Clear for her.
Okay, I'm putting that spirit in an orb, and now we're escorting it out of your closet, out of your house, and sending it back where it came from. Okay, it's gone.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Catherine, for calling in.
Oh, well, thanks for your answers. You all have a wonderful night.
You too.
You too.
So,
thanks.
Brent, who was trying to call in, and for some reason Skype wouldn't let him into the group call, he has a question in the Spreaker chat room. Brent asks, "I'm curious what's going on with my throat. I went to 3 different doctors and none of them saw anything. Is there something similar to the others this evening?" I think he means the others this evening that had throat issues. And whoever would like to try that, have at it. Brent has some throat issues.
Blocked voice. He's not being heard. He feels like the people that are important to hear him don't hear him or won't listen to him, and he needs to get the internalized blockage out by expressing his feelings. I don't know the context of it completely, if it's something current or it's something from the past. If it's something from the past, he can't talk to them. He needs to just speak it, release it, forgive it, and let it go of the story. If it's someone in the present, what I tell people to do is write a letter, like on your laptop or your iPad, and then edit it the next day, and then edit it the second day, so you've had like 3 drafts: a rough draft, a finished draft, and like an intermediate one, and then handwrite it in like an 8x10 Hallmark card and mail it to the person. So you're saying what you have to say, it's got your energy, and you get it out of yourself. You get the internalized stuff and express it. If you can't, if it's something from the past, you just need to speak your piece and let it go and let go of the story. But I find writing a card, writing it in your own hand rather than doing it on a laptop and printing it with a laser printer is better, because it has more impact on the person, and it's sort of mechanical. You actually write it and you feel like you're letting it out or you're releasing it.
Okay, so Brent said before you started answering the question, he said that he couldn't clear it, and I'm not sure what he has done to try. Brent, if you're listening, please feel free to type what you've done to try to clear it in all caps. He just says, "I cannot clear it, by the way," but he said that before you started your answer. Kelly, do you have any insight?
No, I was just going to confab with Paul for a minute. I wanted to ask Paul that I was picking up something about this blockage may stem from family and back further. personal relationships back further.
Yeah, I feel it has to do with having to please the family or meet expectations and not having a voice. Like being told, you do this now, we told you to do it, you have to do it, and not even being listened to. Something very patriarchal where the eldest man in the family is telling him what to do and not listening, or he wants to be in a trade and they want him to be an accountant and they won't listen to him. He's got to go to college to be an accountant, but he'd rather be a carpenter or a painter or something else. But that they won't put up with it because they want him to do something. It's where he feels he has no voice and he got kind of run over, something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I feel like this has been going on from a younger age, and that this is going to take him a while to clear, and he may need to seek some help to get clearance with this.
Right. And somebody to like counsel him, or a therapist, or somebody to like help him, walk him through it.
Yes.
Says it's a whole, so what it is also, it's not just the throat and the energy of the throat, but also behaviors from the past of, how do you cope? How do you adapt or maladapt when you're in a situation where it, no matter what you do, you feel you're not going to be listened to, because we begin to channel ourselves in a very limited way when we're in that situation, and then we develop behaviors and modifications that allow us to survive that very limited channel, right, guys? So it's okay to look for, therapy and, or short-term therapy or, whatever you need to break out of that limited channel and begin to, just allow yourself to be and express and do as you versus the facade that other people want to see. Anyway, I wax poetic on that because that's something I see all the time. Don't you guys see that a lot?
I do. I see a lot of family or relationship issues that are deep stemming, right? And trauma or abuse that's deep stemming that needs more assistance and prolonged treatment.
All right, so Johnny is back in the Spreaker chat room, and he said he wanted to hear Paul's take on his question about his main life purpose in this cycle. And you had said in the comments that, what did you say, he needs to keep trying to please everybody?
Well, I feel like he knows what he likes. There's certain things he likes, he's enthusiastic about, but I feel he's meeting expectations or pleasing family or doing what he thinks he's supposed to, and that's not what he really wants to do. And I feel like he needs to listen to what makes him happy, what he feels optimistic, excited about doing. There's certain things he's really interested in and other things he's not. He needs to be doing something that he really is 100% in, really excited about. And I feel he's trying to please mom and dad or other people or do a job that is tied in with what he went to college for, school to learn, because he spent a lot of money on it and he wants to make good on the investment for the college tuition or such. And I feel like he needs to do what he's called to do, and he's kind of trying to please. That's the message I'm getting.
Okay, so let us know about that. We had another person, Kevin, who we missed his question. Kevin, I'm very sorry, and it looks like you're heading on to bed. If you're not, retype your question and I will read it. We have another question from the Spreaker chat room from Nicola, who says, my husband and I have been living separate for about a month. Would it be best for us to stay apart, or should we at some point come together as a family again?
Well, what Spirit's telling me right now is that all of the work has not been done on both sides yet. And if they want to make a move to come back together, the work has to be done, or else it's just the same recycling.
Okay. Paul, do you have anything?
I'm getting that the next 12 months is not going to work, that the work is going to take longer, or it's not being completely addressed and done right now. And it's one party really wants this to come back together, and the other party is not 100% sure. But until the work is done, what Kelly said, it's a wasted effort, and it's going to ruin any possibility of coming back together in the future. Because if you come back a second time and it fails, most people will not come back a third time. So I would say to wait until it feels right and both parties feel right about it. I feel one person is really pressing for this and the other person isn't sure. And if they get kind of forced into it and it doesn't work, they're not going to come back a third time.
Okay, so Nicola, let us know if that resonates with you. Give us a comment in all caps in the Spreaker chat room, and we will look at a follow-up question if you have one. And let's see, Johnny, I think we got yours. Kevin, hold on. Let's see. Oh, Brent says that he's thought about his question and he understands what you said and he gives you a big thank you. Okay, going on. Okay, a couple more questions. Brent says his wife would like to know, she can't get on the phone right now, if she will go after her dream and if it will go anywhere. So this is Brent's wife. This is kind of a sideways one. I'm not sure if you can connect to that. Let me know if you can.
I'm getting that she is not putting enough effort or consistently enough effort in accomplishing her dream, and she would have to be really focused and stay focused, and I feel she's got other responsibilities or distractions or obligations, and she's not going to be successful going after her dream part-time. I know that sounds crazy, but she would have to really, really focus on it and make it priority number one, and I don't know if she can. She may have other responsibilities that prevent that. So on a part-time basis, my recommendation is not to do it unless she can dedicate herself almost 100% or whatever it takes.
Kelly?
Yeah, no, I get exactly the same. Spirit gave me a picture of the little engine that thinks it can. I think I can, and it's trying to build up steam, but it never quite gets enough steam to go there. That's the visual they're giving me. And so it's exactly what Paul is saying, is that you've got to get that engine rolling and you've got to keep it moving to get to that potential. And if you're not fully in, you can't just get your toe and expect potential to happen.
So inertia is an issue. Yeah.
More of a dreamer or someone with a lot of fire but not enough air, so the fire doesn't get the fuel to get burning hot enough to get things done. It's like she's got these ideas, but she doesn't have the time or the fuel or the energy to actually realize it. Lack of time, like part-time basis.
Okay, so tell her, Brent, that she needs a bellows or she needs to pursue it full-time and consistently. Right, guys?
Right.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you for the question, Brent. Johnny in the chat room came back and he said, that makes tons of sense, Paul. Thank you very much for your advice. He's going to consider your words meditatively. So thank you, Johnny. Nicholas says, thank you so much, guys. And Brent says he understands that and absolutely about your readings for his wife. And Wyatt, who I forgot, Wyatt in the Spreaker chat room, I am so sorry. Wyatt, you read for 2 weeks ago, Paul, and I think you might have talked to him off of the show. Wyatt wants to know if you see anything for him. Just, just anything at all. Do you see anything?
I'm getting the vision of Wyatt in a shoebox, and he's got to get out of the shoebox. It's like he's limiting himself because he's boxing himself in, or he's not giving himself the flexibility to do what he needs to do. And I feel like he needs to have no limitations, to be totally free of limitations to accomplish what he wants to accomplish.
Yeah, totally. He needs to have belief in himself, have that trust and faith, and look into himself and find that strength to move forward and out of that box.
And Wyatt, I agree with these guys completely, and I think that you have to understand that the spirits that you have around you believe in you. So sometimes even if you don't believe in yourself, understand that you've got folk waiting on you. You've got spiritual beings waiting on you to step out of the limitation zone and go forward. I agree, guys. Thanks for that for him. Another question from the Spreaker chat room a couple weeks ago, Paul. I think we also read for Go Teresa, and she says, as you know from last time, my boyfriend left. And he has finally called and expects me to believe his story, which may or may not be exactly a complete story. That's not even the issue with me, whether or not the story is complete. His intentions seem honest in wanting to be with me, but what do you see as far as him trying to follow through, or his ability to follow through in doing his part in this?
I see that he wants to follow through right now, but next week he may waver or get distracted. I don't see him being consistent. So I think his intentions are good, but he's kind of inconsistent. That's the big issue. It's like I would tell him, you need to demonstrate over a 3-month period what your intentions are. Words don't really matter. I need to see your intentions. And don't really make any commitment until you see if he really can be present or not. And I would kind of be like from Missouri, show me.
Kelly?
Yes, I agree with that. There's a need for her to find her self-empowerment, to set her boundaries in this relationship as to what is acceptable and unacceptable. And this is a bit of a repeated pattern. And so she needs to look at, why is she repeating this pattern? Why is this going on? And why do I keep doing this? So now it's time to find that inner empowerment and set the boundaries in the relationship. And be like, no, I'm worth more than this. This is what I'm worth. I'm worth a lot. And I do not need to have this flip-flop kind of thing going on, and set her boundary space.
Okay, so set the boundaries, no wishy-washy. Bottom line, is that what we say?
Yep.
Yeah, no wishy-washy. If you're coming back to stay, and next week don't change your mind. All right. Well, if anybody else has any questions, we are coming down toward the end of the show, and I guess we could say, Kelly, if people want to work with you, how do they contact you?
My website is ancientveils.ca, or they can email me at ancientveils@gmail.com.
Okay. And what do you offer for folks who want to work with you? I know you do Akashic Records, but
yeah, I do. I do the clairvoyant work, mediumship, channeling, light language healing, and mentoring. I also do mentoring as well as the Akashic Records. So a lot. Basically the whole show.
The whole shebang. Okay, and Paul?
Yep.
Paul, if people want to work with you, how do they reach you? I think we've lost Paul again, or we just can't hear him.
We lost Paul. Well,
Paul,
I know Paul is...
Go ahead.
It's Paul at mediumpaul.com.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. We can hear you now.
It's Paul at mediumpaul.com or www.mediumpaul.com. And I do energy work to clear cellular DNA from past lives, from ancestral DNA that's traumatic or empathically or emotionally traumatic that's embedded in someone that may have been passed down in the genetics, and also anything empathically or emotionally traumatic that you witnessed or experienced this incarnation. I do a lot of extraction work and clearing blockages, and I also do holographic energy work, and can basically read or do other spiritual work. I do quite a bit of work on imbalances that are spiritual that then lead to physical improvement in people that have health problems. When you clear the spiritual, the body generally self-heals. I can't make any medical claims because I'm not a doctor, but I work on the spiritual level, and it does have an impact on the physical.
Okay, great. We got a couple more questions that we can do in our last minutes here. Craig wants to know, what chakras do I need to work on? Anybody at all? And what do you think about chakras?
Anybody at all?
Yeah.
I'm just running the chakras right now. Trying to get a sense.
All the chakras except the crown you need to work on.
Yes, because I was running them and I saw the third eye too.
That is so Craig. Yeah, no, Craig, that is so you. Don't you agree? Because he's always getting downloads. I don't mean to out him, but that's so Craig. Excellent. I'm gonna answer for you. Yeah, I get that too. Kit Kat wants to know, question, what can I do to make myself better financially?
Well, one of the things is when you're working with finances, I'm sure as Paul knows, as he looks back into history, that you can carry this sort of karmic things through with you and have contracts that can possibly affect your financial flow in this lifespan. I think with her, what Spirit's saying is that she needs to have better intention and better manifestation for money. I get the sense that she doesn't believe that money will flow to her. And so that has to change, that she has a belief that Spirit can provide and make it flow.
Excellent. So great. Well, we are coming into the end of the show. Thank you guys. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everyone who asked a question. This is Elizabeth Anglin, the host of Cosmic Passport. If you want a reading from me, an emotional code clearing, animal communication, spirit mediumship, it's elizabethanglin.com. You know how to reach me. You can also find this show in the archives on YouTube in a day from now. If you're just listening tomorrow, it'll be on SPACEDOUTRadio.com. We have a lineup of great shows coming in for the rest of the week. Dave Scott will be back. It's our Keith Andrews Friday, I believe, coming up. I'm going to be there. I'll be in the chat room this week checking in. And then we will have Joe Roop coming in on Saturday to take over Spaced Out Radio Weekend Saturdays. I'm not sure the name of the show. And I'll be back on Sunday with Eric Markham for Elizabeth and Eric Get Nerdy, which we totally intend to do with Sherry Baker, science writer from the now defunct Omni, talking about AI and other special things. So we're out for the night. Have a great week. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time around 2 weeks on Psychic Sunday. Next week for me and Eric. Good night.
Now. Don't look much like Los Angeles to me. I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Now taking you on a spiritual journey from the desert of New Mexico this Sunday night, here's Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin.
Peace, love,